This is Vicki Lichtman, and I'm with the Journey Method Online, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Happy Mother's Day to the women around the world. Be you a mother or not a mother. In some ways, all of us have the mother inside of us. We are all mothers inside of us. And welcome, welcome. And today's Soul Sunday call is about self-love. It's a topic that I didn't even understand not all that long ago. What is self-love? How do we get there? It seems impossible sometimes when we're in places of self-judgment and lack of self-respect. And then when we do start to get there to self-love, how do we get back there during times of self-judgment when we kind of fall off the self-love wagon? It's just such a concept, self-love. It's like hearing the expression, heal thyself. How do you heal yourself? And of course, we're here in the Journey Method Online learning just that, to be able to participate in our own lives with a healing aspect of healing everything inside of ourselves. And as we do that, we start getting to self-love as the healing really begins. But what is it? Well, what's love? Is it an emotion? Is it an emotion you feel for another person? Just love. I mean, love. What is love? It's just this huge concept word that we hear. And of course, it means something different to each person. And I, for one, think it's a beautiful thing to be able to define what these big words mean to us. And of course, doing beautiful journey work as we do, the processes that we do, we learn about love in very different ways. So, what's self-love? Is it love turned inward to ourself? Is it an emotion that we feel for ourselves? I mean, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all for so long. And what does it look like? If I was feeling self-love, what would that look like in my life? What would it look like in your life? So often we do things for everyone except ourselves, thinking that if we do things for ourselves, that it's selfish. Well, I think selfish is a good thing when it comes to that. And we do things for everyone except ourselves so often because of what we've learned in our life, because of other people's demands and expectations. And what would it be like to be there for others by choice and not for expectations and demands? So really, today's call is about self-judgment and how it holds us back in our lives, holds us back from self-acceptance and self-love. I think self-love is, and we've had some comments, I wanted to read them to you, but because I'm not technologically really advanced on this right now, I've got this up so I can't read you the beautiful responses that we've gotten on my question yesterday that I put up in the group, what is self-love? And self-acceptance is a big part of that. And how do we get to self-acceptance? Self-judgment is something that needs to be released as we open and cleanse and heal. In a little while, I'm going to be reading you a meditation directly from Brandon's book, Freedom Is. And for those of you that might be watching this that are not in the Journey Method Online, which, by the way, is a beautiful course being given. I don't know if this video can be shared, but it's about it's practicing the journey method and being able to take the coursework online to learn it, and working with others around the world that are really wanting to heal themselves and spend the time. And it's a beautiful community of people and a beautiful course. And Brandon Bays is the woman who started the journey. And this is from her book, Freedom Is. And Freedom Is one of my very favorite books. And this is about releasing and forgiving self-judgment. But I wanted to just tell you of my own experience on this first. Until about 10 years ago, I hid the fact that I secretly hated myself. I even hid it from myself. Almost everything about myself I hated. If someone complimented me, I pretty much knew they were lying, including my mom. It amazes me to think back on the compliments she gave me, the woman who loved me the most in this world, and I knew she was lying because I judged myself way beyond her words. It was so painful to live like this. All the time, the self-judgment voice was always there. You should have said this. You could have done this. You'll never be good enough. And I tried. I really tried. My body image was terrible all the time. I really tried to get past this. My body image was terrible all the way from thin to fat and back again and again. My self-confidence was nil, and I hid it so well. This self-judgment, the self-hatred ruled my life without me even knowing it. It kept me from the now, since there was always self-talk of before or self-talk of the fear of tomorrow. So it kept me from being here today. I mean, I could have been screaming at myself in my head for something I did that day. And I could have screamed at myself for days about it. But nobody would have known. I hid it completely. It gave me a very distorted and limiting beliefs about myself that I lived my life by. I lived my life by these beliefs of self-judgment. Does this sound familiar to anyone? I know that my experience was extreme. So maybe it sounds familiar and maybe not, and maybe there are just some things back in your life that you would like to release and forgive yourself for stopping the judgment on it. Maybe you would like to get into a pattern of self-acceptance, a pattern of being able to... One of the things I was able to start to do was I was able to start seeing a child that was doing the things that I was judging myself for. And did I judge the child for those things? Did I love the child for those things? What were the words I would have said to that child for those things? And started saying them to myself. I had done so much work, and still, back then, I hid it. I hid it. And finally, I admitted this self-hatred to a group of people I never would have wanted to know. Ever. And in admitting it, I found freedom. Kevin Billett, Brandon's husband, and one of the most beautiful people I've ever met, told me that until I welcomed it, and welcomed all of it, then healing would not be there. So I did, all of it. And I still welcome all of it every day. When working privately with people, I find so much of this. The truth is that most of us are secretly very hard on ourselves. So I ask you to be open now, just right now, to all the self-criticism that might be holding you back from the healing that you so desire in your life, that you crave. And just open and know that today's process that I'm going to be reading to you is a very gentle meditation to begin this healing process of forgiving yourself and allowing self-judgment to fall away, to allow healing to be in the now, here and now. Forgiving myself and learning to love all that I am and accept all that I am. First, self-acceptance came to me before self-love. To love it all, the thin, the fat, the beautiful, the ugly, the stuttering, fearful person, the wise, graceful woman inside, all of it. Even the part of me that hated myself, and that sometimes still does. I still fall into that pattern sometimes. This was the beginning of true freedom and healing. So as we begin this meditation, I just wanted to ask you some questions. These are not questions you have to think about the answers to. Just let the answers arise within you. And before I ask, just find a nice, comfortable position. And when you're ready, just let your eyes close. What self-judgment has held you back from the life you want to live? What hidden thoughts keep you from being who you want to be because you have secret beliefs that you cannot be that? What might have happened in your life that you need to forgive yourself for? To release so that self-love can begin its magic? And what would happen if you were to just bring it into the open, acknowledge the game of self-judgment, and finally forgive yourself for being such a harsh judge of yourself? Just imagine how it will feel as you open and allow any limiting beliefs, any fears about yourself to dissolve and become hope. What will it be like when you realize now that you have the miraculous ability to just open and let go? Let your mind be silent, to be here now in the present moment. What will it feel like to know that the healing and the balance you so crave in your being has already taken place? So just relaxing even more and recognizing anything that might be here that could limit your ability to open, anything that might block you from healing. Take a really deep breath in and let it out. And take another one in and blow all of that might stop you right out of the room. And as you listen to the sound of my voice and feel the chair under you, take a nice deep breath in and let it out. And one more slow deep breath in and let it out. And again, this is Brandon's meditation from Freedom Is. So just become aware of your awareness. Experience how spacious it already is in front, how vast it is behind. Feel the expansions to all sides and just rest in a bath of stillness. And now in your mind's eye, imagine a campfire. The nature of this campfire is unconditional love, all acceptance. And at this campfire, there are only two people. There is the younger you, who can be of any age from 0 right up to yesterday. So, a flexible age younger you. Then there is the present day you, who has previously been full of judgments, blame, and self-criticism. And if you look deeply at the younger you, you will see that the younger you feels so diminished, wretched in fact. For it seems that no matter what the younger you did, it was never good enough. And even when something did come out okay, there you were ready to point out how it could have been better. The younger you has been made to fit the mold, to measure up to everyone else's harsh standards. And yet it seemed no matter how hard the younger you tried, they just didn't measure up. They just weren't good enough. And amid all this blame and judgment, in the face of all the internal criticism, the younger you lost sight of who they really were. They forgot the beauty, the magnificence, the grace of their true selves. And instead, they tried to fit into everyone else's idea of how they should be. And still, it was never enough. And if you look or sense or just know, you'll see the younger you feels wretched, weighted down in despair. So begin this campfire conversation by saying out loud to the younger you, I am so sorry for all the judgment. I've been so hard on you. No matter what you did, no matter how hard you tried, it was just never good enough for my impossibly harsh standards. I tried to make you fit the mold, and when you couldn't get it exactly right, then I judged you some more. I've been so hard on you, and I am so sorry. I forgot that inside you is a real beauty, a real grace. Instead, I bought into everyone else's ideas and concepts of how you should be, and I lost sight of the real you. I'm so sorry. Please, will you forgive me? And now, open up your own chest as if opening a suit of armor, and allow all the forgiveness from the younger you to penetrate into the body and being of the present day you. Take your time and really open to receive the forgiveness for all your judgment. And then turn to the younger you and say, I am so sorry. I lost sight of the real you and tried to make you fit the mold, cruelly judging you when you didn't get it right. I promise to stop this blame game starting now. I forgive you for all the times you didn't measure up to my impossibly harsh standards. And now open the chest, the armor of the younger you, and see and feel the presence of forgiveness and loving acceptance permeate the younger you. See the love and forgiveness flooding through the younger you. See the younger you opening wide and receiving it, welcoming it. And while that is happening, say, I'm so sorry for the past. And from now on, I'm going to see the light in you, the love in you, the simplicity of grace that is your essence. And now become aware of the garment of pain and judgment laying so heavily on the shoulders of the younger you. And imagine lifting it off and throwing it into the fire. And give that younger you some balloons. In the first balloon is self-love. Let the younger you breathe in self-love now, and let it suffuse and permeate the younger you. And then give a balloon of self-acceptance, and let the younger you breathe that in. And give a balloon of knowing you are the presence of divine being, and breathe that in and let it imbue and permeate the younger you. And imagine turning now to the younger you and repeat the words. I'm going to say this slowly, so repeat it. I'm so sorry for all the previous pain and judgment. From now on, I will love and protect you. and begin opening to this extraordinary essence of grace that is our nature. You are a beautiful being, full of magnificence and truth. And then hug the younger you. And let the younger you merge into the present day you, growing up in the embrace now of self-acceptance, self-love, and self-knowledge, and in the realization that you are grace itself and perfect just as you are. And now, once again, allow awareness to expand spaciously in front, boundlessly behind, open to all sides, infinite below, spacious above. And just rest is an open sky of all acceptance. And when all parts of you are fully integrated and ready to begin living from this consciousness of freedom and self-acceptance, you'll find you will only be able to open your eyes and be present to the here and now. And when you're ready, open your eyes now and rest in a bath of self-acceptance. And I'm wondering what it would feel like now to just accept yourself for the beauty that you are, to welcome all there is, to love it all about yourself like you would a child. I remember a couple of years ago, I looked in the mirror, and I always had avoided looking in the mirror. I mean, I'd look in the mirror and comb my hair and see what I felt like, but I never stared into my own eyes. I never looked for my own soul like I do in other people. And I remember seeing it and going, hi, it's so good to be with you. You are so beautiful. I wasn't seeing my face or my hair. I was seeing the part of me that goes so far beyond it, the part that I had forgotten to look for, living in this world as a human being. And as I rediscovered that part of me, it was so much easier to live as a human being. It was so much easier, so much more fulfilling. And like I, said before, no matter how long I've been on this path and no matter how much I learn, I still fall into that pattern every once in a while. Even yesterday, I remember something happened. I was so down on myself. It was like, oh my God. And I thought, should I apologize to the people? And I went over what I did. I mean, it's just like, why? Why bother being so harsh on ourselves? So I put out the prayer for you, for me, for all of us, that all that love that we give, for all the compassion that we feel, for all that we want to do for others in the world, that we do it for ourselves. That compassion turns inward. That acceptance turns inward. For you are absolutely amazing and deserve it more than anyone. So, thank you for being here. You are healing angels around the world. And by being here, you are helping to bring healing consciousness to all existence. Thank you. Thank you. Much, much, much love to you. Have a wonderful Sunday and happy, happy Mother's Day.